Here we go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to those of you just joining us on live stream. We have a wonderful group that's been anticipating your arrival for the last couple of minutes. And we're here on this delightful Pacific Northwest summer day. After enduring some up and down January times, we're now fully, I hope, launched into summer, and I hope you are too. Right now, why don't we launch this service with some music from these incredibly talented beings.
If you all want to stand, if you can stand, we'll kick this off. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Let's sing, make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there's hatred, I will love. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument. Make me an instrument of peace. Where there's hatred, I will love. Where there is hatred, I will love. Where there is sadness, I will bring joy. Where there is darkness, I will shine. I am an instrument of peace. Sing, I am an instrument of peace. I am an instrument of peace. Let's do that again. I am an instrument of peace. One more time. I am an instrument of peace. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks for singing into this day with us. Take a minute to greet some of those beautiful faces out there. And if you're on social media, let us know where you're tuning in from.
Okay. So what bands do you play with?
Right now, I'm kind of doing my own thing, and this right now, so I'm kind of looking for new potential groups, but
Cool.
I also teach guitar at during the school year,
Okay.
and ukulele. Sorry?
Where? What?
Up in Linden,
Oh, Linden. Okay.
Linden Academy is what it's called. It's like a, yeah.
time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. 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 My soul is welcome here.
Oh, thank you. I'm up here today before we have our kids come up because our most wonderful teacher for the last year is about to head out to Seattle for an internship program. And I wanted to thank Lily publicly for the wonderful, wonderful teaching. All right, so why don't we have any kids in the audience and almost not kids, come on up.
Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. The world's got trees and bumblebees, rivers and lakes and the open seas, mountains and valleys and animals too, and a sun that shines on me and you. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, I'm glad to be on it. Hooray for the world, it's a special place. We got Mother Nature and the human race. We got Mother Nature and the human race.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Susan Jancic, and I'm the practitioner of the day, along with Deb Dole. And welcome, and please turn off your cell phones if you haven't already. And I'd like to call your attention to the prayer vessel in the back, if you would like prayer this week. So thank you. Join me now. Join me now in this breath of connection. This breath of connection that connects me to that place inside that is my eternal home, the place that I connect with the one life, the one love, the one power, the one divine presence that is in and through all things. And as I turn my awareness to this place, I am uplifted, renewed, and responsive to all of the beauty and the grace and the glory that is in the world. I realize that the divine is always present. There is no separation. And as I take my thoughts into this place in my heart, I realize a deeper and more meaningful connection. I know that my life is on purpose and that all of the opportunities in my life are at the grace of God, that spirit that is forever navigating, supporting, and uplifting my life. I am so grateful for this truth that the divine presence is always right here, right now. And in this knowing, I release these words, knowing the nature of the divine always says yes and yes again. And I am so grateful for this. And so it is.
I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. I am listening. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. Slow my step, move with grace through each breath. I'll find my way. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. I am listening. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. Slow my step, move with grace through each breath. I'll find my way. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things. I am listening. I am listening to the wisdom of this body, and I am honoring the balance that exists in all things, the balance that exists in all things, the balance that exists. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. I will share, 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 I will share this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. I will share, 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 I will share this love. I will share, 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 I will share this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love.
Yeah. That is one of my favorite songs, so thanks for playing it. And they played it because the talk for today is entitled Open Secret. And it's based on a quote from Hafiz, that incredible mystic in the Islamic tradition. And the quote is, "Start seeing everything as God, but keep it a secret." So I wanted to give you the whole poem because it's really about what I wanted to speak a little bit about today. And welcome to those of you who are new, by the way. We're grateful you're here. The poem, which was translated by Daniel Ladinsky, is called "Beloved Everywhere, I Am So Glad." Start seeing everything as God, but keep it a secret. Become a man who is awestruck and listening to a golden nightingale, singing in a beautiful foreign language while God invisibly rests upon its tongue. Hafiz, who can you tell in this world that when a dog runs up to you, wagging its ecstatic tail, you lean down and whisper in its ear, "Beloved, I am so glad you're happy to see me. Beloved, I'm so glad, so very glad you have come." That's the poem. And, Hafiz was a weirdo, like all the mystics, right? And so he's saying that leaning down and talking to a dog is like talking to God, right? And those of us who are dog owners, we could go with that, we get that part. But the point that I wanted to speak to is this point about how we view in this philosophy the presence of the divine. And so, in different traditions and in different cultures, the divine is spoken of with many different words and thought of in many different ways. And in this tradition, in this philosophy, we believe that God, the divine presence, the one, is resident within all things. That instead of thinking that creation was made and then God left, we actually think God is completely present, if you don't mind me using that word. And some of you do probably. So you're going to hear me use different words for that divinity that we believe is resident within all things. And so I brought you just a short quote from the founder of this philosophy. It is because the mind of God, which is the creative mind of the universe, flows through us that our thought is creative. It is because of our nature and not our will that our thought is creative. Who, by taking thought, as though he was independent of the universal mind to do anything, who, by taking thought, that's a quote from the beloved teacher Jesus, can change his spiritual nature or add 1 cubit to its nature. So the understanding that we have is that because spirit, divine energy is resident within everything and resident within us, that we are connected to something that is so much more powerful, so much more wise, so much more love than the individual sacred human could imagine. That in that connection to the divine that is within us and around us and through all things, we have the opportunity to tap in, if you will, to kind of become part of a wellspring of the energy of the divine. So the song, So Secret, So Sacred, is about the divine offering itself through us and in us all the time. We just have to be present to it to even take advantage of it, really. And then I will share. And that's a critical piece of why we think sacred humans are here on the planet, is to share the wisdom and the love, the wellspringing of that into the world, and to bring that more and more fully into being our source known. See, it's there all the time. It's just that if we don't know it and we don't tune into it, we don't use it very well. We use it in habitual ways. We create systems in our lives and in our thinking and in our judgments and our assumptions that keep the wisdom and love that could take us into this amazing state of awe and wonder, which is the theme for the month, we don't avail ourselves of that energy, and so we're stuck. And you may have felt that from time to time. You know, I've certainly had days where I wake up and it's the same old, same old. That's what I'm saying in my head. But it's not really. It's just that I'm recreating, sort of habitually recreating the same patterns and the same ways of thinking and the same energy of judgment and assessment and all of that. So for me, the Hafiz poem is really about breaking through the habits of mind and heart. And so when it gets to leaning down to the dog and saying, "Beloved, I'm so glad you're here," you know, he might have done that. I could see Hafiz doing that. But I think what he's really pointing to is a metaphor for us, that by seeing everything as divine, we have the opportunity to walk into a different world than the habitual world that we've created. So I thought I would talk a little bit about what I've discovered in seeking to do that. Because, you know, for me, I love being here. I love life, and I love the opportunity that's been gifted by the divine to have this life. It's precious to me. And so I don't want to live the judgmental, habitual, get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, go to work, do the work. You know, I want it to be something different, even in the midst of all that. And so this is really just my suggestions. Take them for what you will. So how many of you were here on our solstice potluck gathering? Yeah. So you heard a story. It's from the Native American tradition. And it was a story about Badger, because Badger is related to the summer solstice. And in brief, because it's a great story, but I can't tell it here or we'd be here all day. The story's point was that Badger had given food to a starving bear. And Badger had more than enough. And he and his family were living in this warm, wonderful home with more than enough food. And so when Bear came rumbling out of the cave and clearly was starving, Badger saw that and gave food. Well, you may or may not know what bears are like, but Bear kept coming back because that's what Bear likes to do. And so every day, Bear would come back. And because they had enough, they would continue to feed Bear. In fact, to the point where Mother Badger actually prepared a place for Bear to sit so he wouldn't get her floors dirty. So that was my add-on. So what happened, though, is that the stronger and the more well-fed Bear got, the more cocky Bear got. And so he showed up one day, and the Badger family could see that something was up, something was different. And Bear started saying, "I am so powerful, I am so strong." And by the end of that conversation, he had kicked the Badger family out of their home. And so Badger then, every day would go back and would ask Bear for food, and Bear would throw him out again. But every day, Badger would pray and then go back. He'd be thrown out again. And so finally, the last time he was thrown out, he landed in this grass, and Bear had actually recently killed a buffalo, and there was blood there. And in the Native American tradition, you know, that's a sacred thing. So Badger picked it up, took it back with him, and went into a sweat lodge with the blood as an offering, and asked to be completely cleansed of anything, and asked for help from Great Spirit. So he's walking out of the sweat lodge, and he feels something in his back. And Great Spirit had turned that blood into a brave that was carrying a magic spear. And the brave was called Avenger. And so Brave went with Badger to Bear's house, that used to be Badger's house, and Bear saw the Avenger coming with the spear, and all of a sudden changed his tune. And the story goes from there. Sorry. I know we like closure, but there you go. You can make it up yourself. The point of that I wanted to bring you is the first point that I have. And that is that Badger didn't go into reactivity, you may have noticed. Like a lot of us would have gotten really, really angry and, done all kinds of things that probably wouldn't have worked either. But instead, Badger would pray and then go ask. Pray and then go ask. So he was not allowing reactivity to take him into habitual places. Maybe this is familiar to you too. I know I have habitual places that when a certain thing is pinged in me, I go straight to those things. Usually, in my case, anger. And so I've worked on that because anger can be very destructive. So the first point, if you would like, as I would like, to allow the wisdom and love that is the divine offering itself all the time to flow more fully, is to practice curiosity instead of reactivity. To go to whatever your definition of prayer would be, and to allow the openness of prayer to eliminate reactivity so that the right way can be revealed. So I've practiced this hard because anger was a tradition in my family. And so it's taken years and years and years of practice and working with it to most of the time, and I think that's good enough, right? Most of the time to open to curiosity. Oh, look at that. I'm starting to feel angry. I wonder why. What's that about? Because, of course, no one can actually make you angry. It's something that's allowed. It's allowed. So why am I allowing this reaction? Has been the way I've worked with it. And there are other things that maybe are your habitual reactive places. Maybe you get depressed or sad or, I don't know what yours are, but they're workable. And the way to work with them is to practice open curiosity and no blame. The second practice that honestly, through all of my spiritual path, I've been instructed upon is something that's called spiritual sight. And that's a way cool phrase for a really hard thing to do. So you're invited to use, I'm practicing spiritual sight to make yourself feel better as you learn this. And maybe some of you are already doing this, but this is the practice in a nutshell, and lots of different traditions have this. And I have to say it really does work. And what it works with is our capacity. So in the habitual world that many of us create, we don't have a lot of capacity for newness, for change, for growth, because that would rock the ego's boat and would make all those habits look sort of ridiculous. So the capacity to hold growth and to hold change is really important on a spiritual path, because spirit is going to change you if you open to it. So the capacity is built around spiritual sight, and this is how I was taught. So I'd like you to imagine someone or something or an animal that you dearly love. So get that in your mind. And as you're thinking of that, whatever it is, just see that as the divine. Just like Hafiz saw the dog. See whoever you've chosen or whatever you've chosen as part of the divinely inspired creation that it is. And then raise your hand when you've got that, when you feel that. Okay. So that's the easy part. That's where you start. I'm serious. You start there. You don't start at the hard part. You start at the easy part. And you practice that. I practice that. I practice that. I practice that. I practice that. Every day, as many times a day as I can remember, the things that I love, the people that I love, the animals I love, I practice seeing them as divine creations of the Almighty, of the One, however you want to phrase that. And it's great because the habit energy that runs a lot of my life has to stop because I'm seeing something anew again. So it's great. The second part of second sight is now I want you to think about a person, a thing, or an animal that you're kind of neutral about. You don't feel anything much. They're just neutral. So it could be like the postman, or Maybe you're sort of neutral on giraffes. I don't know. Find something. Maybe you've got a person in your life. They're fine. Maybe a neighbor or something. So everybody have that? Okay, now with spiritual sight, I want you to close your eyes if you're comfortable and see them as the divine creation that they are. And then open your eyes when you have that. How many of you could do that? Yeah, not hard. So we're still in the easy part, but it's getting to the hard part now. Because now I want you to think of a person or a thing. Maybe it's an organization or your work or a thing or an animal that you really don't like. You really don't like. I mean, really. They're super hard for you. I don't want to use the word hate, but definitely toward that kind of energy in your life. It could be a politician, it could be a relative, which is even worse, it could be a corporation, it could be anything, really. But you find yourself, whenever that shows up, I don't like that, right? So everybody got one of those? Good, I'm not alone. Because there could be an enlightened person in the room that doesn't have that. So close your eyes. You know what I'm going to ask. You're going to practice spiritual sight with that being, that thing, that animal. And you're going to, in your mind's eye, look beyond appearance to the innate divinity within that. The innate creative power that brought that into being, that's still there. It hasn't exited. It's there. It just may be covered up. But you're going to, with spiritual sight, see behind the covering. And when you've got that, you can open your eyes. And even if you don't, because we only have a couple minutes. Not going to ask for a show of hands on that one, but that's the practice of spiritual sight. And using it on a regular basis, daily if you can, builds capacity for what, you might ask. It builds capacity to see something other than our own judgments, our own assumptions, and the mask of the other person that for reasons, or the other creation, for reasons that we'll never perhaps understand, have created this very difficult person or situation. And so building capacity is very powerful in the spiritual path, because you're going to meet people that are difficult. You just are. I mean, is anybody in the room not? No. I mean, maybe the dogs, but everybody else is like, well, no, there's some difficult people out there. And so part of walking a path that allows the divine more and more room is to move out of judging that and making assumptions about that, and instead having a capacity to just be with it and hold that somewhere in there the divine is still operating, just very, very masked, very cloaked. And so the last thing that I have down here that's a real practice for me, and I actually learned this the hard way by going to graduate school. Paid a lot of money to learn this particular thing, and so I'm giving it to you for free, or whatever you put in the donation basket. Because as you know, I trained as a therapist, and so as a therapist, one of the things that one of the words that phrases they would use is practicing with the third ear, which sounds really yucky, like where is it, sticking out of my head or what? But what they're speaking to is something that actually in business is very common, and it's asking the question, what's not being said when you're listening to someone? And I want you to really make this personal. So if you're in a relationship with a beloved other, a parent or a child, a lot of times what happens is habitual energy doesn't allow us to really listen. We listen actually better to strangers sometimes than we listen to our beloved others. It's so weird, but that's the way it is. I mean, we'll offer an umbrella to a stranger, but tough luck if your spouse is in the rain sometimes, right? And so practicing the third ear means that you're asking the question, you're listening for the deeper conversation that's also happening. So what's not being said, the energy that is being delivered as your beloved speaks, is just as important as the words themselves. In fact, sometimes much more important. I can remember listening to my children, and children, they have a limited vocabulary for a while. And so I was fortunate to have this practice as something that I was learning when my children hit teen years. Because they would say things, and if I just listened to the words, that reactivity would show up. But if I listened below the words to what was not being said, to the energy that they had, what I realized often for them was they were incredibly frightened or really confused about something, and they were using the relationship we had to kind of project it onto me. And so I could take that, listen to the energy and what was not being said, and be with them without reacting. This is a practice that I'm telling you is like golden. It's a golden practice in any relationship, a work relationship, a family relationship, a beloved other relationship, and the world. Because it's a training in, you can't do this practice anywhere but in the present moment. You can't be anywhere else to be able to catch these subtle, unspoken things going on. And so what a tremendous spiritual practice that is, to pull ourselves back into the present moment, away from habituated thinking, away from being in the future or being in the past, but just right here with whoever's in front of us. So powerful. And what this does when we're in the present moment and we're doing these practices as faithfully as we can, is it opens us to the divine being able to work us and to work through us. We can share, not like, let me tell you about my divine inspiration today, not that kind of sharing, but we can share the love and the wisdom that is flowing in us just by being available, just by being present. It's a gift, this precious life. And when we're present in it, other people wake up to that too when we're awake. So awakening to the divine energy in us is a very powerful practice. And why would that be something that I would encourage you to do like I'm doing? Because awe and wonder are the result. Awe and wonder about the people in your life, awe and wonder about the world. And why is that important? I believe that is experiencing the healing power of the divine, the energizing power, the creative power of the divine in us, around us, and through us. And in this way, we honor that. And we're just awakened in wonder and awe every day of our lives. It's astonishing, the difference it makes. So I'm going to do a prayer, our form of prayer, which is in the affirmative, and I'll speak it in for myself, and you can say in your mind yes if this prayer works for you. So join me now as I remember everything that I've been speaking to, that there is within all beings, within all things, a powerful, loving, wise presence. Call it what I will, it is there and available all the time when I am. This one, presence and power, love beyond all measure, in me is constantly awaiting my awakening to it. And so I do. I choose now to open to the divine, allowing it to assist me in moving in the world with curiosity, with the ability to see the divine in others, and with the ability to listen deeply, to become available to the wisdom and love in others as well. I accept the divine working in me to open any doors that have closed to that, to pave the way for an even greater availability to the creative power that is running through all things. And as I do this, I am awakened in wonder for this incredible world we live in. I am awakened in awe for the power of healing and revealing that is present. And I share it so that others may also be awakened in love. And I'm grateful, so grateful. And so it is. Thank you. Thank you. Right now, I'm going to invite the ushers to come forward, and grateful for you that are here. We are deeply supported solely and only by people who like what we're doing here. So we're grateful, of course, for anything you can put into our baskets. And I know many of you make donations on a regular monthly basis. Thank you to you for that consistent giving. Thank you today for being here.
Everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. Everything in this world goes around, flowing with abundance, it knows no bounds. Giving and receiving, we circulate the love with gratitude and knowing there's always enough. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks with this offering. We give thanks, we give thanks, we give thanks for everything, for everything. We give thanks for everything.
All right, let's see. I have a bunch of announcements here. And let's see what we have up on the screen. This is probably the most exciting announcement on some levels. We have, for the first time in 4 years, been able to bring the Mind, Body, Spirit Fair back. Yay. And if you're new with us, what this is a glorious day on our beautiful campus. It's filled with booths of healers and sellers of merchandise and all sorts of people that are interested in healing the mind, the body, and the spirit. And so we invite people from the larger community to come and be here to, talk about what they do. And we get to come. There's a $5 admission for adults, and children come in free. There's speakers on the wedding patio down there through most of the day. There's a food truck. I mean, it's a happening. So it starts at 10 and it goes till 4. And I'm telling you about it so you'll mark your calendars and come, but we need some help. That's really why I'm telling you about this. We need some help before the fair. during the fair and after the fair. And in our classroom today, of course, there's coffee and treats, but there's also sign-up sheets if you can help on the day, which is July 22nd, or a couple days before. We're particularly looking for, this is an interesting ask. So there's a lot of different ways to volunteer, but here's a weird one. We ask that the vendors come and set up their booths with their pop-up tents and stuff the night before the fair so that they're not scrambling and have that kind of energy the day of. But someone needs to guard their stuff. And so if you're a night owl and can be part of our guarding team, we would love to have someone do the early shift and the later shift. I'm so not a night owl, so this is not my volunteer spot, so that's why I say it that way. But if you are, or you're a person that can wake up and then go back to sleep easily, we'd love you to volunteer to be on guard here. And Joe and I will be happy to offer you our teardrop trailer to sleep in, or at least stay in and read in between doing guard duty. So lots of opportunities to help, and we'd love you to do that. All right. Today, we have this, feeling good with the earth. We have a core value of being good stewards of our finances, our community, our land, and the world. And so we have an Earth Stewards team, and they're inviting you into a discussion if you would like to come today. It's going to start at 11:45. It doesn't go for long, but what we're wanting to discuss is ways that maybe you have found to live lighter on the earth. We have someone, I think, from Rag Finery coming, who's one of our community members, talk about that. We have some flyers from different farms around here that organically raise things and stuff like that. But even simple stuff that maybe you're doing that other people, when they hear about it, could go, well, I could do that. We'd love you to come and be part of the discussion. Bring coffee, bring tea, bring a cookie. I think there's some cookies in there. And we'll start promptly at 11:45 and get you out of here by 12:30 at the latest. So that's today. And then this Tuesday, Joe and I are taking a spirit tour to Ireland. And we would really like you to consider coming if this is something that you can do. The dates are May 4th through the 13th next year. And we have a Zoom meeting with the Spirit Tour owner who's going to talk about, that part. And I'm going to talk about, Joe and I went to Ireland with a group of people. Are any of you here today? Yes. And it was incredible. You could talk to Susan and Sandy if they're willing to hang out a little bit. But we'll talk about it Tuesday. The Zoom starts at 6:30, and we have that, I believe, on our webpage. If you don't write it down now, why would you, right? So that's happening this Tuesday. Very, very, very fun. Not cheap, though. I do need to tell you, it's not cheap. Spirit Tours likes to take people to spiritual places around the world, but have them sleep in wonderful 4-star hotels. So, or inns, and so it's very comfortable. So we also don't go to tourist sites. So if you're hoping to kiss the Blarney Stone, we don't do that. But you could stay after, or you could go before and do that kind of thing. But every day there's time on your own. So it's not one of those tours with the little flag. No. And there's only 24 people going that they take. And the Scotland add-on, there's only 12. So come and see, even if you can't do it, at least it'll be fun to hear about. So that's Tuesday. What else? Oh, I was so happy to see a parent come in who has not been able to sit in the sanctuary without a baby on her hip. Yay! We are very grateful to 2 young women. One, her mom calls her Sunny, and the other, I keep calling her Serendipity because it is, but her actual name is Serenity. And and they are our new toddler baby care folks. And so if you're listening on live stream or you're here and you didn't bring your baby, feel free to come. They're going to be here from now on, and we would love you to drop them off at 10:15 so you have a little time to get settled, get them settled, get settled in here, and I'm very, very excited about this. I've been praying about this for a year, so yay. Yeah. And our office, I can't believe we're even talking about this, but our office will be closed July 3rd and 4th for the holiday, which isn't this Monday, Tuesday, but the one after. So just so you know. All right, I think that's enough, don't you? Why don't we stand and we'll sing our way out of here.
I'm not worried about tomorrow. Today I declare freedom from yesterday, mistakes of the past. Today all things are made brand new, and don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should. All is well, all is well, all is well. Even Spirit is directing me right now. All is well, all is well, all is well, and unfolding as it should. I can change my reality by changing my mind. Perfect peace, joy, and happiness is yours, and it's mine. I am love, and so are you, and don't it feel good to know that all is well and unfolding as it should. Sing it out. All is well. All is well. All is well. Even Spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well. All is well. All is well. Even Spirit is directing me right now. All is well. All is well. All is well and unfolding as it should. All is well and unfolding as it should. You all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again soon.